Let's take a look at Monday. There are 9 games on in the NBA. There's interesting things always happening. Who are the players that are going to stand out for streaming? How do we attack the beginning of the week? Is it with Michael Bolton?
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and just like a lifesaver, I get a whole lot more out of life. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and we are available on all platforms. All right, we are here looking ahead to Monday. Just as I'm hitting record on this, we did get some news from the Utah Jazz men that Walker Kessler has returned home for further testing on his shoulder. Bad news. Bad news, like really bad news. He was obviously starting to play well. Last game was not good. He heard it in that game. They are going to be bad. They will be bad. And they will be very cautious about Walker Kessler. Yusuf Nurkic is getting the start on Sunday, so I'm just going to put that out right now. Just go and add Yusuf Nurkic. There's a lot of ways they can go. They can put Markin at the 4 and play Ace Bailey in the starting lineup. They can play Kyle Anderson. They can play Kyle Filipowski, a lot of Kyles. They can play Taylor Hendricks. There's a lot. They can play bloody Kevin Love, who's probably going to have to play unless they go small ball with Anderson at the 5 or they play Hendricks at the 5. Or actually, Filipowski. There's a lot. One of the things in the front court of this team in the offseason was like, there's so many bloody guys here. How does Filipowski and Hendricks play enough? What do they do with Kessler? What happens to Nurkic? Now is the chance, even though it's still crowded. So Nurkic is your guy to go and grab. It's like it's 2021 all over again. So just giving you that update right now to kick things off, or some would say tip things off because we're talking basketball. Let's have a look at what are 3 big storylines to pay attention to for Monday when there are 9 games on across, let's get wanky here, across the association. What are the 3 big storylines we want to look at here? Quenton Jackson, realistically, because I know that people are running to add him. I do believe that he will start for the Pacers, but will we continue to get big numbers? I don't know. But we want to see it, don't we? Morant is going to return. He's not going to play Sunday. He's suspended, but he'll be back on Monday, I'm guessing. So does he pout? Does he complain? Does he look uninterested? Does he not like the fact that his coach called him out, which is apparently what happened? Does he act like an idiot? Does he see his usage rise? Is he efficient? I don't know. We need to see that. And then Shaedon Sharpe, minutes have been down. He did have a bit of a calf problem last time, so his minutes were a little bit lower. He had one of his more efficient games, but still the minutes are low. So what are we doing here? Are we playing under 30 a night again? I think it's been 3 in a row where he's under 30 minutes. And Chauncey Billups, who's not the coach anymore because, orange jumpsuits and stuff. Tiago Splitter's the coach at the moment, and he's showing no hesitation in limiting what Shaedon is doing in terms of playing time, whether it's injury related or not. There are other, sometimes it's just form that he goes with somebody different. What are some of the injury updates that we need to look at for the games on Monday? Where is the impact there? Well, what we're going to look at is Norman Powell, because Norman Powell being in or out, which we don't know at this point, will be key because it means it's more stuff for Wiggins, for Mitchell, for Simone Fontecchio, for Pelle Larsson, for Jaime Jaquez. All those guys get bumps in a scenario where Powell is out. We've seen that already. Fontecchio is the guy that's shooting the absolute lights out at the moment. He's getting a pretty sizable usage bump as well, which will probably come down when Powell is back and then eventually when Hero is back. Another one that's important is Malik Monk. He missed the last game. And Westbrook moved to the bench, played 33 minutes. Now, does Westbrook start? I don't know. But if Monk is out again for personal reasons, are we going to get more Keon Ellis? Probably not. But like Westbrook, is he 28 or 33? Because that does make a difference. And then Dereck Lively, we did get news on this, just as I'm recording this as well. He is ruled out. Anthony Davis is ruled out. So Daniel Gafford is going to be worthwhile-ish. While they're out, and they had a million centers, obviously, but Gafford is there. He is probably going to be on some sort of a minutes limit, but for now, there is use in using Gafford. Gafford only has value when Lively and Davis are out. But they are, so here we go. It's, I guess, Daniel Gafford time? So let's take a look at what Monday is currently shaping up to be. Again, you always want to be checking out that Basketball Monster news page or wherever you get your information about who's actually in and out. We've got 9 games on. Timberwolves, Nets, Bucks, Pacers, Wizards, Knicks, Jazz, Celtics, Mavericks, Rockets. Pistons going to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. We've got Kings, Nuggets, Lakers, Blazers, and Heat, Clippers. A pretty busy day coming up on Monday with 9 games on. Let's go through each of those games and have a bit of a look at what we might be up against in those particular matchups. Timberwolves and the Nets. We know that Anthony Edwards is out and Ziaire Williams will be playing, it appears, for the Nets, and all of their rookies continue to really struggle. Danny Wolf is not likely to be there or be available, and you're not likely to want to care about Danny Wolf being there or available. The Bucks and the Pacers. We expect Mathurin, McConnell, and Nembhard to all be out. Cam Jones still out. Of course, Obi Toppin's out. So we don't expect anybody back for the Pacers, and we know that Kevin Porter remains out for the Bucks. So theoretically, we should just be all ready to go with what we've been seeing for the most part with both of those teams. The next game that we go into is the Wizards and the Knicks. Now, this is a game where the Knicks come into this one on a back-to-back. So I don't know which game Mitchell Robinson is or isn't going to play, or does he just sit both of them? For the Wizards, there's no current injury question marks surrounding it. The next game after that, we go to the Jazz and the Celtics. Like I said, Walker Kessler is out. George Niang will be out. Isaiah Collier will be out. In Boston, there's no one in particular that is missing there, but that Kessler one does loom very large in terms of how we approach the Jazz for the short term, and it might be long term. You hope it isn't, but it might be. We then go to the next game, which is the Dallas Mavericks and the Houston Rockets. Lively has been ruled out. We know that. Anthony Davis is out. Dorian Finney-Smith is out on the Houston side of things. Next game is the Detroit Pistons and the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant will be returning to this game after sitting out the game on Sunday. And Marcus Sasser, I don't expect to be available for Detroit. Jaden Ivey will still be on the sidelines. The Sacramento Kings and the Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray is listed probable, so is Cam Johnson, so we don't really worry about them. And the one that we're going to watch, of course, is Malik Monk, who did miss the last game with or for personal reasons. The next game, we're looking at the Lakers and the Blazers. DeAndre Ayton is, we expect to play. We know Kleber's going to be out, Thero's going to be out, LeBron's going to be out. Ayton had those back spasms in the last game. We expect that he's there, but again, lots of stuff can happen. And then I really think that what we saw with Blake Wesley over the weekend, I think it might be serious. It's not an Achilles, thankfully, which it looked like it could be, but I wouldn't be shocked if there's a Lisfranc or some sort of foot stress reaction or something. So I'm listing Blake Wesley doubtful currently, and why that's important is that he's their backup point guard. Like, there's no other point guards. It's Drew Holiday, because Scoot's out and Wesley's out. Like, you're going to get Caleb Love, Rayan Rupert, Sidi Sissoko. Like, who is the backup point guard? So just watch that for the double Onyx shows. You might be looking at Rupert running the second unit because there is nobody else. The final game of the day is the Miami Heat and the LA Clippers. This is a later one, 7:30 p.m. Pacific tip-off. Hero will be out. Yakichonis will be out. Norman Powell, I don't know about. I'm currently listing question 1. And I've got Bradley Beal as questionable here too. Now, it is a back-to-back. It's the first of the back-to-backs for the Clippers. Kawhi said he's playing. I don't imagine that Beal is, but does Beal sit Monday or does he sit Tuesday? That, at this point, I don't know. But that is where we're at with that. We'll come back and we'll talk about manipulating the schedule, how we can get the most out of what's coming up in the schedule. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, but every day. You lock in on every opening. You beat your PR, then you beat it again. You channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all on one platform. And you can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools. Or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategy with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, so expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that is robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. The NBA season is here, and we're getting ready to go watch games. It's one in your local market. Go see it. It's bloody exciting watching live sports, especially if it's your favorite team, one of your favorite players, or even just maybe you're scouting for your double Onyx fantasy league to find out what is going to happen with some of these random pop-off names. Game Time makes getting the tickets, though, easier, because in the past it's been annoying. Additional fees, surprise fees, queues, price surging. Get out of here. Game Time gives you the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. It is so easy to get onto Game Time to search those tickets, find the best value. They color code them there as well. They've got the views from your seat. They've got the zone deals. There are so many great features to game. As I just choke because I'm just so overwhelmed by the value of Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Swipe, tap, ticket, go is also the tagline for my previous dating life. All right. Let's get in and talk about the schedule and how things can play out here during the week and the early part of this week. What can we do to take advantage of it? Well, there are a lot of back-to-backs of teams coming in from Sunday into Monday. So you should be aware of these already, but the Nets, the Lakers, the Grizzlies, the Heat, the Knicks, and the Jazz. So obviously with the Jazz, do they do anything with Markkanen? We keep an eye on that. Kessler's going to be out both games. The Lakers, is Doncic available for the back-to-back? I think so. The Grizzlies, well, Morant comes back for game 2. Like Norman Powell, does he play Sunday, sit Monday? Don't know. And then the Knicks and Mitchell Robinson, we pay attention to that. There are only 2 back-to-backs, though, going Monday to Tuesday. And remember, this week, week 3, we've got 11 games on Wednesday, 11 games on Friday, and 1 game on Thursday. A very weird pocket. So Wednesday and Friday, not really streamable days. Thursday is. And to begin the week, when you want to maximize your games played, trying to get 5 games from one slot, you want to be hitting some of these back-to-backs. And there are 2 teams that have it. It's the Clippers and the Bucks. Again, Kawhi thinks he's going to play. Bradley Beal probably won't, but you might have options of Derek Jones and Chris Dunn and these sort of guys. And then the Bucks with, obviously, Ryan Rollins just a must roster, but the value of Kuzma, Portis, Trent, Big Boom AJ Green. Some interesting enough options in the short term there for that back-to-back when there is only the 2 teams that have that ability to do it. If we want to get chunky, we're talking the next 5 days, Monday to Friday. There are only, between Monday and Friday, 3 streamable days, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And the only team that plays on all those days is the Clippers. So Chris Dunn, Derek Jones, the corpse of Brook Lopez. If John Collins was dropped, you can use those players. Now, you don't have to also this week because, as we detailed in the Week 3 preview, ways that you can get 5 games using 3 moves and you get maxing that out without having to rely upon Chris Dunn. Better ways to do it. But if you want to do it, that's how you can do it. And then the Bucks are the other team with 2 quality games. Cole Anthony and AJ Green. But throw Gary Trent into that mix if he's available in your league. Another name that you can add on there and get some value. But the 3-game teams, if you only want to use 1 move for the next 5 days, it's got to be the Clippers. They're the only team that has that advantage there. So let's take a look at some stream options. The stream of the day. Who is it going to be? Well, it's probably, at the moment, the way I'm listing it, it is probably Quenton Jackson. Now, I don't really have any faith that Jackson is going to be able to do this on a long-term basis because Nembhard, Mathurin, McConnell, all likely to return at some point, and then he won't do it. But for now, I really like him. And look, I'm going to be honest with you, I know that there are going to be people falling all over yourselves to go and grab him. And look, most of you wouldn't even know what he looks like. So there you go. If you didn't know what Quenton Jackson looks like, that's not him. That's Ray J. Dennis. This is Quenton Jackson, who is 5% rostered. He played 31 minutes last game as a starter, and in all 4 of his games, he's hit 50% of his shots. I'm projecting him for 30 fantasy points on Monday as well, and I expect that he starts over the camcorder legend. But now you are familiarly acquainted with what Quenton Jackson's head looks like. He looks a lot like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, doesn't he? There's a bit of KCP in that. He does look like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope there. But he is a really solid streamer, and I do think that we get 30 minutes now. I wouldn't bank on the 50% shooting from Quenton, but he is a strong stream. That's a stream basically across the board. And then in 12-teamers, I do think that Mike Conley is worth looking at. obviously you prefer Quenton in this spot, but Mike Conley is putting up numbers at the moment, and it's heavily dependent on assists and steals, but they're there. For 14 teams, I've got a Marcus Smart, who played a lot of minutes in the last game. Now, maybe Marcus Smart doesn't play because it's a back-to-back. And if he doesn't, you go to Laravia with a big bump into that spot. And then for 16 teamers, I'm going to go with Day'Ron Sharpe, who is putting up unbelievably good permanent numbers. He's available everywhere as Nick Claxton's backup. And when they get smashed, he probably plays a few extra minutes. Your Yahoo points stream of the day, I'm going to go to another Indiana Pacers player. I'm going to go to the national tile. Hello, Jarris Walker. Now, as a starter, he is averaging 30 fantasy points. And when I talked about the waiver wire show earlier today, he was on the list as one of the most dropped players. And I said, I don't think I agree with that. Yeah, I know last game was bad, but in 6 games he's played this season, he's hit 30 minutes in 3 of them. He's averaging 30 fantasy points as a starter. I don't know how you're sneezing on that. I'm projecting him at 31 fantasy points for Monday. And he's doing that while being one of the worst shooters you have ever seen. I'm not even suggesting he's going to be a good shooter, but he's hitting 32% of his 2-pointers. That's Jeremy Grant territory. He's at 32% overall, and somehow he's hitting 30% on his threes. So there's a lot of 30s in that, but bro, make some 2s. And he's a bad shooter, like a horrifically bad shooter. But if you're averaging 30 as a starter, 30 fantasy points, and you're that bad at shooting, well, if you just get like some moderate improvements to become like Keontae George level of bad, then you're talking 33, 34 fantasy points. And I don't think there's many leagues out there or many teams that can't utilize that. For ESPN points, we're doing Pacers again. It's obvious why we're doing Pacers because there's just a million players out. So Aaron Nesmith was terrible, and then he had a great game. He hit 31 points. He shot the ball really well as he elastic banded back. He is going to be probably subpar in efficiency while everyone else is out. But the opportunities and the minutes, they remain. And that's always going to be a key point. We're going to come back for more specific stream lists in a sec. Today's episode is also brought to you, though, by Rugi-Et. Don't make excuses. It doesn't solve anything. You've heard them all before. Oh, it's stress. Oh, I'm tired. It happens to everyone sometimes. I can't even finish at the rim. What makes you think I'm going to be... Like, when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little bit of extra support, and that's where Rugi-Et comes in. Rugi-Et.com offers fast-acting doctor-prescribed treatments for ED, designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rugi-Et makes it easy to get started. You connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online with no awkward waiting rooms and no in-person appointments. And if they go, yeah, you need a little bit of a boost here, they'll prescribe it for you. It gets delivered to your house in a discreet package. So go to RUGIET.com, lucky I spell it, .com/LockedOnNBA for 15% off your first order. That is RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. And don't forget to use the code LockedOnNBA so that they know that we sent you. Rugi-Et. Stop making excuses and start making moves. All right, let's look at some other streams now. 10-team streams. Go through that list. Of course, we know Quenton Jackson's there. Mike Conley, Marcus Smart, Day'Ron Sharpe, the center in Memphis, Jacques Landale. Not a high priority guy, but still providing enough value for us at the moment to be considered as a stream target if you're doing single day streaming. In 12-team leagues, again, look at that first list, but then Juice McBride, Jalen Wells, Duncan Robinson, Chris Dunn, and Max Christie, who's probably going to be playing his 31, 32 minutes, which is the new role that he seems to be in. And he is available in a lot of spots. He's not awesome, but he is available in a lot of different areas. For deep category leagues or deeper leagues, John Furphy, the dildo. First game, he played like 17 minutes. I can easily see him actually being an issue for someone like Jackson. Not that Furphy's a point guard, but I think they're going to want to give him a lot of minutes. So just see where that goes. Rob Williams, Young Hun-Sen, not going to be in the rotation. Rob Williams, if Rob gets to 18, then we start having discussions about, like, is he a 175 player league stream until he gets hurt? Maybe. Peyton Watson is probably close to a 12 streamer, honestly, at the moment. It's a little bit up and down, but his production's through the roof. Drew Smith, really good steals guy. And then Jonas Valanciunas is, again, it's a low upside play, but 8 and 6, maybe, on really good field goal percentage without having bad free throws. He's an option for the deeper formats. If we go to Yahoo points streaming, there is a lot of paces here. Jarvis Walker, Aaron Nesmith, Quenton Jackson all on the list. Russell Westbrook is a very good points league streamer. Category league, it's dependent on your team. The points league, the value's there. And Cedric Coward also still available in over 65% of leagues, which is a surprise to me. He is not a high volume player, obviously, but we'll see what the opportunity looks like for him on Sunday, especially with no Morant there. And then lastly, we go to ESPN and ESPN points leagues. I'm using ESPN 35% rostered as a metric to give you these names as well. A lot of paces once more. Walker, Nesmith, and Jackson. Davion Mitchell, while I don't love the long-term fit, it's there. And then Josh Minot is still like 80% available on ESPN. He is not a particularly strong points league player. He's fine to have, but he's definitely worth a stream look on Monday for the Celtics, and we'll see where that goes. But he's more of a category league guy than a points league guy. And that is a Monday preview across the NBA with 9 games on. I'll be back later on today recapping Sunday's action, all 8 games there. You know what to do. You double bang your thumb, you leave your comments, and guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.